Today we are baking up some cookies and cream sweet rolls. It's a black cocoa roll with a cream cheese frosting. The first step to making the rolls is warming up some milk. Now with our milk warmed up, I'm going to pour a little bit out. So now we're going to make a tangzong, which is just milk and flour, and this will help keep the rolls nice and soft. So I'm going to mix this mixture until it resembles something like mashed potatoes. So now that it looks like smooth mashed potatoes, we'll add it to our bowl. I'll then add in some ice cold water, and I'll whisk this combined. I then have 3 eggs cold from the refrigerator. Next I have some yeast, and then some more flour. So now we're going to get this mixed on low. So we can see that our dough is coming together pretty nicely. Next I'm going to add in some sugar. We have our black cocoa powder, and I'm just using some from King Arthur. And then I have some salt. So now we'll continue mixing this together. The dough's been mixing so far for about 15 minutes, but now we're going to cut up some butter. And as it's mixing, I'm going to be adding in tablespoon by tablespoon. Now with the butter added, we're just going to let this continue mixing for a little bit. Alright, so total I think our dough is mixing for about 30 minutes, so now we're going to add it to this buttered bowl. And then another way I like to test to make sure the dough is done is by holding it up to the light. And if light passes through, that means that the gluten has developed, so we can continue. So now we're going to let our dough rise at room temperature for about 1 hour, and then I'll put it in the fridge. So it's the next day, and now we're going to be working on our black cocoa filling for our cinnamon rolls. So I have some butter, some brown sugar, a pinch of salt, and then we have our black cocoa powder. And I'm just going to use a spatula to get this mixed together. So next we're going to roll out our dough. So next I'm going to be adding in our filling. Now with our filling added, we're going to start rolling this up. And then I'm going to let it rest on its seam. Alright, so I'm going to be taking some dental floss, and we're going to be cutting out 12 even rolls. And so this is what the spirals look like. And as we're cutting them out, I'm just going to put them in this parchment lined pan. So I was able to get 12 rolls cut out, so now we'll set them aside and let them rise for 45 minutes. Alright, so it's been about 1 hour, so I'm just going to brush on some heavy cream on each one. And now we're going to get these in the oven. Alright, so our rolls are fresh out of the oven. They were in there for about 30 to 32 minutes. I'm going to let them cool down a little bit, and then we'll remove them from the pan. Alright, so now I'm going to take these out of the pan. Now we can officially begin working on our frosting. We're now working on our cream cheese frosting, so first I have some butter, and then our softened cream cheese. And then I have some powdered sugar, a pinch of salt, and some vanilla extract. Alright, so now we can officially frost these. And then I have these homemade black cocoa cookie crumbles that we'll add on top, and they kind of taste like Oreos. These are fully decorated, so now for the best part, I get to eat one, and of course I'm going for the middle. The roll itself is super soft because of the tangzong that we made, but also adding the heavy cream on top. And the black cocoa flavor comes through in the filling as well. You can definitely cut corners and just use crushed up Oreos if you want, but I definitely think there's value in making your own cookie crumbles. I'll be sure to have the ingredients in the caption, the full recipe of my newsletter, and let me know if you want to see another roll recipe soon.